for Bolo. Canadian can take his time, and here it is. Wait, the time is close, but Canadian gets it. There was about a half a second left.
Could see how they've assembled at least 3 of their 5 off. And Merc in particular was once again a very pivotal figure in that round. He was able to stop Space Station from being able to take the wall into CCTV. Also claimed the skull of Rampy and then gets shut down by Bosco, but that's over half of the round used. So Merc, again, he is a huge part of why that round is so close for TSM. If Space Station can just be a little bit quicker on that, TSM's defense was quite sound. I think it really just came down to the fact that they were a little bit too late to retake. If they were faster, could have broken their favor. For Space Station, you've got a couple small things that you can fix, but I suspect that from TSM, we're going to see an entirely different setup that doesn't involve them playing that far off site. The biggest tell of that is the fact that there is going to be no wall denial whatsoever. No bandit, no mute. All those walls are going to get opened up. Space Station knows this. They'll be quick at it, I'm sure. But then the problem is, well, what do we do about those that are sitting behind the 2 deployable shields that'll be present, the Valkyrie cameras that'll be up, and the Nitro cells that will either be prepped and ready from inside of the A bomb site or from down below?
There goes the EXO. I think you're probably right. Those are going to be one of the most important factors for TSM. You can see they're kind of set up for that, as you mentioned. I'm curious if SSG is going to approach that problem downstairs directly, or if they'll simply hit the site. Looks like it's going to be direct. Canadian is droning Rampy in downstairs. Bosco droning the top floor. Rampy's, or rather, excuse me, Achieved is spotted at the bottom of main, and he gets info but loses the fight. What a shot from Rampy. Gosh, I wish we could have seen that one, but it almost looked like we didn't even have Rampy on screen. And keep in mind, this is land build, so that's not something you blame on the servers. That's...
さっきまで前のラウンドまではこの階段下とか1階にいっぱいいたから、そいつをさらに下から裏から囲い込みに行って殺した。対応やな。
TSM now 1 man down, but look at that! Rampy doesn't check all his angles, and Merc punishes him for it. 12 frags for the man who's keeping his team in contention, almost single-handedly. He's trying not to die to Bosco, who he knows to be on the cutoff.
ここ入ったら死ぬもん、本来。
Merc is playing his life, and he's doing it well. Here's the vault into Jim, sprays through the wall, but it's a feint. And...
この車線とこの車線でここは隔離されるから、ここにさっきからマークは入ってるけど自信がないと無理。こっちからの味方のカバーとかは正直無理かな。屋上にも人配置されとるし、ここにおる可能性もあるから、これはあんまない。ここにカメラとか置いてあったらできるけど、今ランピーがちょっと詰めすぎたんやけど、ドローニングしてないとこまで。動きとしては微妙や。
SSG now, man advantage, 1 minute left to finally get onto the site.
It's roughly the same amount of timing, by the way, and you're in a similar position. For Space Station, you've lost Rampy, however, you've managed to pinch an extra member of TSM. So when you burst into this bomb site, the 3 off-site players from TSM, if you can even really call it that, because Geo is but a single leap and bound into the B bomb site and Chala is a rotate away, TSM are still going to be fighting from far enough back, but SSG will have to break in, and they'll have to do so quite quickly. Because since we saw that final frag happen, there's been over 30 seconds expended. Chala in a very suitable position here at the top of red stairs. He'll be the first line of defense. Still got two of
で、ベッド攻めって裏取りするルートここしかないから、メイン階しかないから、裏取りするルートメイン階しかなくて、ここには折れないと。ここら辺で戦うのは無理。だから、SSG は、TSM は、その階段下とかに配置して、裏取り警戒が入る前に戦いに行ったりとかを狙ってる。それをさらに下から囲い込んで、このラウンドはキルした。これでベッドの取り返しはもう正面からの戦いで勝つしかなくなった。こことここは固定で、あとはもうこことかこことかこことか1回とかと最後の裏取りとかでかな。で、全員の距離感の話ちょっと入れるんやけど、こう5人がおるとするやん。5人、まあここ1人ここ1人ここ1人で裏取りしたろうと思ってここ登ろうとしたのが1人で、攻撃側がここ5人おって、最強窓、この外、ここ1枚ここ1枚で裏取り見るやつみたいな。この時に距離感が大事。こいつがちょっと遅れたら、まあこの7分19秒で一斉に打ち合いが始まったとするやん。こういったりこういったりこういったりこういったりでこの時にこいつが合わせれんかったら、こいつはこっちに参加できる。だから4対5になる。でもこいつがこの段階で上がってきたら、もうこいつは打ち合うしかないから5対5になる。OK。
Construction. Geo prone, waiting to see the shins of somebody inside of CCTV, but he can't find it just yet. That's going to be the Zofia who's going to be in that line of sight, and there you go, but not enough damage done. Bolo evens the odds. Fultz takes out Chala. There's the pressure you need. Bolo down below. Oh no, he looks away at the wrong time, but finds Fultz nonetheless. The case is picked up, thinking Nate will have to go for the defuse with Bosco, be the only one alive until Geo punishes him, and then a Nitro Cell from Bolo will drive the dagger through the heart of Space Station. The first half is...
阿部とかは多分ここでこいつらが打ち合いよときに阿部がもし遊撃で取ったら多分ここら辺におる。1回の関係ないことする。こういうのは絶対直した方がいい。前見よってもまだやいよったから。そもそもまあいいや。
For Space Station, but also casualty inside a garage was probably the most important kill for Space Station's execution. But he just persisted, and those angles on the prone hole there, nobody from SSG was comfortable challenging that one. And it makes sense. What an odd thing for Achieve to do, and it worked out great. We were talking in the lead-in about how TSM needs to get a little funky with it. They need to do some upsetting things. This is SSG's map. They have proven that time and time again. But yeah, I mean, the little funky things that TSM did pull out on that first half were good enough to get them to the 4-2. 4-2 is a winning half, of course. It is expected and hoped for on defensive side in maps like Clubhouse. But the most important thing here, regardless of all the stats and looking at the scoreline, the most important thing that I'm noticing about this matchup so far is that it is nothing like the last time these teams met yesterday. It is a whole different ball game. TSM is on point, and they are playing the game, surely and truly. Which is, we can't. Last time these teams met, we cannot say that.
TSM are a much superior team right now, but how much of that is honestly just Merc's play? If Merc presently wasn't roaming with the same confidence, if he wasn't as effective to kill time, if he wasn't as aggressive as he is, because, yeah, Merc is hitting his shots just fine, but I think the key difference that we've seen as of late is that Merc is deliberately taking fights, whereas he seemed to shy away from it previously. In most of the matches that we've seen with TSM, Merc has not been that eager to put himself in harm's way early on. He's been playing a much more conservative style of Rainbow Six. Not the case at all today. If Merc was playing more conservatively, and he only had a third of the kills he had right now, which is where he would usually be at in times past, is this still a 4-2 match for TSM? I don't think so. And I do think that Merc is the focal point for this team. Excellent impact trick, by the way, is there'd been damage done to SSG, their lives being chipped away at by TSM. And Foltz is the first one to die with, by the way, him getting a focal point for this team. Excellent impact trick, by the way, is there'd been damage done to SSG.
この餅つきバンディットがするからそれ突き上げに来るやんか。それを読んで下に枚数配置しとったけど TSM はここに1枚ここに1枚でここかな、そんな感じだった気がする。ちゃうわ、こっちか。こいつはここに当たりに行ったけどやられた。
Their lives being chipped away at by TSM, and Foltz is the first one to die with, by the way, him getting a kill previously. That puts him at 69 kills so far in the major.
Nice.
Thinking Nate is still alive, and that bandit tricking that he's doing on the wall is going to be crucial. TSM had thought that they'd get away with it, but Geo will now only have one exothermic charge remaining, and you just want to bleed that utility out of your space station. TSM will have to do...
Thinking Nate, putting the pressure back now on to Bolo. The fact that Thinking Nate has kept this wall intact for advantage. So it's TSM as they get ready.
To the ball. The shoulder of Bosco, but unfortunately, Merc being unable to hit it means that Bosco takes down. And a near miss from Merc. Bosco anchoring down.
これも距離感が整ってるから。この手動3枚、ここ1の動きでここに入り込んでも準備できてるから、こいつらがバーって戦い起こしに行ってもすぐ合わせれる、こいつに。これでもしこんなとこおったら、こいつは普通にこっちと戦うから4対3になる。ここにいたから4対4。TSM はこういう合わせがうまい、距離感が。
He doesn't tend to miss those opportunities, but in this case, he does. More pressure on the shoulder of Bosco, but unfortunately, Merc being unable to hit it means that Bosco takes down Shalom, even though the 2 kills from TSM are good. Bolo will be taken down below side game.
From Rampy downstairs. positioning and the utility play, he's going to go downstairs and he's going to die. No big deal. The crazy thing about that, though, is Rampy didn't even have holes downstairs. He just knew exactly where the plant spot is. And I think that's just one of those little marks of a true professional that kind of give you that slight edge. He knew the precise spot to shoot through the floor onto what was him a blank ceiling. That's some nice, just tiny little pieces of awareness that do go a long way in this game. Now, with that said, it was not the extent of the round. Most of that comes down to the bandit tricking we saw from Thinking Aid. That delayed 2 minutes by itself. And apart from that, the very slow execution from TSM. Now, I want to talk about why that execution was so slow, or at least why I think that execution was so slow. And you can tell me what you think here, Parker. But you've got your star performer with 12 kills over 7 rounds on a hard breacher. He is not going to be able to entry the same way that you would like him to be able to. And I know that role swaps in the middle of matches can be weird and clunky, and you've got your plan, but we saw Merc be one up. No, the last person. He didn't even die in that round. Right. He's not in a position to really expose himself because, yeah, he's got a great gun on a good operator.
これドローン壊すための遊撃すぐ引く。
For entry, if you don't need.
これ春日くんできるようになってほしいな。春日くん見てる感じ、地下守りの時にこうやって上とかに寄ってってやつだけだから。まあこれは殺すための遊撃で、遊撃って3種類あって、殺すためのやつ、殺すためってもう殺しに来るな。キープ。例えば地下守りで、別にないけど、まあ、例えばな。ないけど、キッチンでめっちゃリソースかけて耐えるとか、キープ遊撃。時間、これはキル取れる。で、最初にキル取ることで、時間も奪える。本来、マップって5人で取るために前から作戦立ててるけど、最初に1人殺されることで5人分を4人でやらなあかんようになるから、攻撃側は時間も奪える。キープは時間とリソース、盾とか ADS とかここに置くことでリソース避ける。で、3つ目が引く遊撃。これドローン壊しながら引くんよ。ドローン壊して引く。攻撃側ってドローンと攻撃プレイヤーのセットで来るパターンか、自分で、これライブドローンな、2人がかり、それから自分で回して自分でその部屋に入る、1人がかりでやるみたいな。この時にこっちだった場合にドローンが壊されたら、例えばこの倉庫にこのスレッジが入ろうとして自分でドローン回してクリアだっつって入るやん。でこの時に春日くんがここってドローン壊したらもう一回回し直さなあかんのよ。で時間奪える。しかもドローンも壊せる。でこれもう一回壊したらもうあれやん、そのまま来るし。でこの時に打ち合わんと引くことでさらに時間が奪える。あれどこ行ったんだろうみたいにもなるし、はい。
hard reach, but you do need hard reach on this map. And him not being able to make those entry plays where the rest of TSM is not as potent in the fragging department right now, that is going to hold back TSM's execution. It's going to slow him down. Entry plays where, because you didn't even got your plan, but we saw roll swaps in the middle of the map. For entry, those entry plays where...
ボールが届くことってアチーブド
The rest of TSM is not as potent in the fragging department right now. That is going to hold back TSM's execution. It's going to slow him down.
He's comfortable on this role, though, and I do think there is some credibility that teams like to play ace in a frag-heavy role once those Selmas go down. Especially when you've got the two heart breaches, right? And that's heavy roll once those Selmas go down. Especially when you've got the two heart breaches, right? And that's the goal of Geo on this squad is to take out the hatches, which is going to be
あれか、これは2階に普通は近攻めの時に2階も回すけど2階にいないだろうっていう読みで1階だけ回して攻めてる。これで大幅に時間が短縮できる。攻撃側は。
His prime target is this is a church defense or SSG, and because of that, well, you got 3 hatches that you need to take care of. You happen to have 3 bursts of X-Kairos before the changes to Hibana come into effect, which are currently live in the test server. Also, time for everybody that's watching right now. If you're on PC, download the test server. You get access to
多分この段階でも終わり始めたのはだいぶ早い。
This is not how I expected them to use their utility, by the way.
Yeah.
You've got a Hibana who's each round of X-Kairos can open that up, unless they're worried about getting impact tricked. That's the only thing I can think of, and I mean, it's a pretty good assumption.
この盾強い。ここに降りるやつやれるから。
There's, you know, no impact grenades on SSG's side of things. So I understand why TSM wants to do this, but
あと、アタックの時今までうちアッシュがメインだったけど、これからはフラバンなくなって、投げ物が5つあったんが2つになるから3つか。ゾフィアの方が4つで多いから、これからはメインアタッカーはゾフィアで
if they didn't know the lineup from Space Station, they would have known that they didn't necessarily need to do that. What this will do is it will very likely leave 1 round of X-Kairos to probably go on the church wall. That would be my
この守り方はこうだっけ。来るルートは、ここ、この8より、こっち、こう、8より、ここは、こことここのクロス。ここは、まあ、こいつが見たり、こいつが見たり。で、まあ、あれ。ここは、まず、ここの8よりは、こうと、こう。で、まあ、こいつも関われる。で、こっちは、こうと、こうと、こう。 ちらもこいつが 1v1。ミュートがあるから多分有利。
I guess. There's still one left for Geo, so
He's got,
that seems to be the plan, unless he's going to drop blue. But there's a lot of confusion right now as to what TSM wants to do, and you can hear it in our own voices, as they have seemingly just called an audible and completely changed up how they wanted to pull off this execute, with some of their focus going towards Dirt Tunnel, and the rest just being a straight kitchen drop.
This is going to be very dangerous. The smokes are going in to try and make it a little bit better, but you can see SSG is perched up, waiting for the drop. Achieve will get fault, so that's a great entry, but look at the time. 25 seconds? TSM doesn't have any options right now, and this position being played by Rampy could win the round for... Space Station alone. He even has a C4 if he loses track of his opponent. Geo gets into Cubby. C4 is there, but he's not using it.
ここのハッチ降りる瞬間に、ここのハッチから、このハッチからこいつが降りる瞬間に、こいつも降りることで、こいつに牽制できる。さっきの距離感の話と一緒で、こいつが降りたらもう、こいつはスレッジにかまうしかないから、まずこいつ殺してこっちだから一瞬隙ができてプラントへ行ける。だからこのタイミングのハッチより強い。まあ死に役やけど。
As the flank from blue works out for TSM, huge kills there from Chala. They allow for the plant to go down, and now
でこの時ハッチ上に味方2人おって、1人がこっち見とって、こっちローテコを見とって、1人がこっちからこっち見とって、で、プラント。で、もう一人は、まあ、こっち見るか、このバイク上おるか。
Rampy, with almost no HP, is going to have to find 4. It's not happening. Geo shuts him down. He can plant and frag too. And TSM make a miracle happen in that round.
Well, the performers that we didn't see high numbers from over the last couple days have seemingly woken up and have just taken on this mantle of world beaters, as both Geo and Merc are the two players on TSM that are having the best day at the moment. A huge round from Chala as well, and don't discredit the sledging that was done of Achieved above. He got that opening pick to start things off. But his ability to take away that flooring inside a kitchen is what opened up a lot of these avenues for TSM to play off of, and additionally make it so that the defenders can't just freely push up to the diffuser. It might not seem like something big, but if you lose a sledge or a buck early on a map like Clubhouse, on a site like Church, and you cannot do to the kitchen floor what Achieved just did.
変えてきたな。遊撃主体に変えてきたな。お得意の。キャッスルがおらんのか。
The chances of you being able to successfully hold a post plant from above drop, and they drop very quickly. You need to be able to cut down on rotations that are going to happen below. As an attacker sitting on that hatch, guarding the diffuser from an entire floor above, you need to be able to see people when they're coming. Whether it be the doorway leading into Church, whether it be from dummies, whether it be from AK, whether it be over by Dirt Tunnel, there's a lot of very strong positions that you can play upstairs in Kitchen that are solely enabled by the soft destruction work. So that's one of those things where we often talk about how the contributions that you make are not always shown on the scoreboard. Sure, Achieved got it.
TSM は、遊撃にこうやって2人入れとったときに、まあ、めっちゃ近い位置に配置しとったけど、 こことか、こことか。メイン階とブルーを前目に守ってたけど、SSG は、まあ、ここにミラとここにミラで、低い位置、固めの位置で対応しそう。だから多分こいつらもすぐ引くかな。TSM と違って。TSM はできるだけ前で戦おうとしてたけど。
Top floor clear is necessary here, as SSG has an extensive roam upstairs. This is their strat, as people like to roam.
こいつとこいつ、低い位置で守ってる。これは何？その、TSM は個人技に実力、あれがあるから、自信があるから、1v1 とか、全然やる感じやけど、こいつらは、もっとマップ的有利とか、枚数の多さとかで、打ち合いに勝ちたいから、こういう固めてる。堅実。まずここ割って、物流の鉢も割って、ちょっと待って。ここ割って、物流の鉢も割って、で、ここに2、誰だっけ？で、ナイトクラブをゆっくりボーロが進行。
Cut off the roamers to prevent them from retreating through cache. Nade goes over to server. That's to get the other mute jammer on the server wall. Space Station are reading in.
窓からのグレでミュート壊して、でしたな、今、こいつが。で、二人とも引いて、こいつに合流。SSG は、ここを厚めにして、こっち側を。メイン階からとか、バイクから引くルートを、早めに潰しに行ったけど、こいつらは、ボーロ一人だし、上もあれ、取ってないから、引けると思う。
To it and saying, yeah, we're gonna leave. They've dropped down to the middle floor.
まあ、1階でもうちょい耐えるつもりやな。1階に圧力がなかったから、ボール以外。
Interesting that we have somebody on TSM in Strip Club. That's an uncommon position to play, but it can assist in cutting off the rotations. Nobody catches one of the roamers there from Space Station as they go down the blue stairs. That's huge. Rampy has made it back. He'll actually try to come back up to assist Fultz, who is attempting a flank in garage. I like this, though, from Space Station. It's dangerous. Very dangerous. But one of the biggest problems we had in that last round is even though Space Station had a good setup, because TSM was posted up and allowed to execute the strat as they wanted, even with very little time and a good setup from SSG in the site, Space Station still couldn't win it. So now they're changing something up. They're trying to do things differently. It might work out for them.
Fultz gets shot through the wall as he gets pinged and is...
はーい。ご飯です。